Good morning. No matter where you live in the world, I think we can all agree that the year 2020 has been a long haul. Here in the US, we are in the final days before a presidential election that in so many ways has torn this country apart. I would venture to say also that the whole world will be watching the results with anxious, bated breath. And if politics has not exhausted you, then surely COVID has. Loss of life, loss of hugs, loss of closeness, loss of the ease of living we once took for granted. All are emblematic of the new normal we have been, at the least, forced to acknowledge, if not begrudgingly accept and embrace. A couple of weeks ago, I reflected on some of the positive aspects of this pandemic. However, I also think it is equally important to recognize the brokenness that it and the current political polarization here in the US has caused. I'm talking about the stress, the anxiety, the lying awake at night, the conversations that inevitably turn to Donald Trump or how we will stay safe when the holidays are upon us. Brokenness, pain, frustration, cracks. Is there even room for hope? It makes me think of Leonard Cohen, Canadian singer and poet, as well as ordained Buddhist priest. One article I read referred to him as our patron saint of sorrow and redemption. He wrote and sang a song called Anthem, part philosophy and part prayer. A couple of lines from it stand out for me. Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Surely those words are a message of hope in our darkness, and they are particularly striking in these days before the presidential election, these days when COVID infections are rising in many US states and in countries throughout the world. Ring the bells that still can ring. None of us need be victims of our circumstances. We can control, at least to some extent, our attitude and outlook. We can fan the flames of our own hope. We can act upon our needs and desires far more than perhaps we know. Each of us has a bell within us, a bell that still rings. We can reach out to each other. We can encourage each other. We can volunteer, text, write, phone, right down to the wire on November 3rd. We can vote, we can pray. Each of us has a bell within us, a bell that still rings. Forget your perfect offering. What we do will not be perfect. In the end, we may think that we have rung our bell too softly or not enough, but we have done something. We may have only changed one person's mind or life, and so we thought we were not making a difference. But we did something. We reached out, we encouraged, we volunteered, we voted, we prayed. We rang our bell. There is a crack in everything. Yes, there is brokenness all around us. There are cracks. There is anxiety. There is pain. There is frustration. We do not live in a perfect world. There is a crack in everything. That is just the way the world works. That, whether you like it or not, is reality. But cracks are also jagged slivers of hope because that's how the light gets in. In the end, I believe that the politics and pandemic will not break us. They will not break our hearts, but instead they may just crack them open enough to let in some light. And in that light, we shall discover some much needed love, both to give and to receive. Maybe the cracks will allow your spirit to grow in ways it never could have otherwise. Maybe the cracks will cause you in one way or another to offer life and healing to those around you in these difficult times. Here's a prayer I found to end this chat. O Spirit, Give us grace today to love as you love. Help us to love with extravagance. Give us hope today for ourselves and others. Heal our hurts and our hearts today so we can serve and help those around us. Help us to know that you are enough, and help us live today and every day in thankfulness for all you've done and for all you bless us with. May you find peace and healing in the days ahead.